Hi everyone, this is Tejas here from Moses Group in Adelaide. Just this video is gonna be for MBA students. What are the options after completing MBA in Australia? So I'll just wait for more audience to join before I start. Hello everyone, this is Tejas here from Moses Group. So today's live session is about options after completing your MBA program in Australia. Before I start, I'll just wait for a few more minutes so people can join us to make sure they have enough benefits for information we'll be sharing today. Just to quickly remind you guys, we will be doing 5 different seminars in our offices throughout Australia on different topics. So you talk to one of our office close to you in your state to attend any of these seminars, which will be really helpful for you to understand what's your future pathways for your permanent residency. And also, just to remind you guys, if you need any assistance in terms of your PT practice, go on our website called pttutorials.com. Today's live session is all about the options after MBA. So we'll be discussing different things, what you can do after completing your master's MBA programs in Australia. So I'll just wait for a few more minutes so the audience can build up and we'll have enough engagement so you can go through all these options. Hello everyone. Hi everyone who are just joining up. Hello. So people who don't know me, my name is Tejas. I'm a registered migration agent with the Aussies Group based in Adelaide. We have a team of more than 15 migration agents throughout Australia. We're one of the largest migration agencies in Australia with years of experience and proven success throughout our journey. So we help clients for all kind of Australian visas and stuff. So feel free to comment your inquiries on any of our posts, and our migration agents will be assisting you for those inquiries as well. The people who are just joining up or just watching live, today's sessions will be for MBA programs. So what you can do after your MBA, what are the options you can use to apply for your permanent residency after finishing your master's in business or master's in business administration. So let's get things started. So basically, after doing MBA, a lot of people have these questions. What are the options after completing my master's in business program? Is MBA part of the MLCSSL, or can I apply for direct PR after doing MBA or not? The simple answer for this question is no. Most of the occupations leading after MBA, it's not in MLCSSL. Except some of the highly specialized occupations such as sales and marketing manager or those kind of thing, which is required highly experience and also the assessment through AIM. So some of the occupation which is part of the MLCSSL, most of the graduates who have done masters here in Australia will not be eligible to apply for. So what can be done? What's your future pathway after MBA? What are the options available for you? So before we can assist, the first thing what we need to understand is your profile basically. So if you have done MBA, what's your bachelor into? What was your bachelor degree? If it's most of the people, like MBA is such a vast field which can be done after engineering, after medical, after normal just a Bachelor of Arts or any kind of stream. Bachelor degree holders can do the Masters in Business. So MBA can be done by pretty much any kind of student. So what's the future after that? Let's talk about engineering graduates. So if you have done MBA and your bachelor was in engineering, then you can look into applying for your permanent residency through engineering pathways. So if you're an engineer from overseas, you have done 4 years of engineering degree from overseas, what you can do is you can go through a skill assessment process with Engineers Australia. You can get your skill assessment done in any of the fields which you have studied, such as electronic engineer, electrical engineer, telecommunication engineer, civil engineer, or any engineering qualifications you have. You can apply for your skill assessment through Engineers Australia, and you can look into the option of applying for your PR through that option, through that occupation. You can still claim the Australian study 5 points, so which means you can still claim the 5 points of your 2 years Australian studies. And if you have studied from regional area, you can still claim the 5 points for that as well. So if you have studied, let's say, from Adelaide, from Darwin, Tasmania, regional campuses in Geelong, some of the campuses in Queensland, New South Wales. You can definitely claim 5 points for your regional studies as well, and you can still use your overseas qualification of engineering to apply for your permanent residency. What is the process for skill assessment with Engineers Australia? So basically you still need to have minimum 6 each to apply for your skill assessment, but since you have done 2 years of masters in Australia, you can get the waiver of your skill assessment English requirements through Engineers Australia. If your qualification is not accredited by Engineers Australia, you'll still need to write 3 career episodes, and then you can apply for your skill assessment through Engineers Australia. If your qualification or the university you have studied from is accredited by Engineers Australia through the Washington Accord, you might be able to apply for direct pathway without having the requirement of the CDRs, the career episodes and stuff. Normal processing for Engineers Australia is around 3 months, 2 to 3 months, but you can also apply in a fast track, which can be done in 10 to 15 working days. It really depends on the workload. During the graduation period, Engineers Australia takes more time. Also during the Christmas vacation, the waiting period can go quite up. So you need to keep that in mind if you're planning to use this. So people who have just joined up, so what we're discussing in the pathways after MBA, especially for the engineers. So if you have studied engineering from overseas and just doing 2 years of studies here, MBA, Master of Engineering Management, or any engineering masters, you can use this qualification of overseas, the 4 years of bachelor. You can apply for your permanent residency through that pathway. Just to remind you in that, you still need to meet the 60 points requirement for 189, or 55 for 190, or 50 for your 489. So depending on your occupation, you still need to meet the points requirements to get the skill select invitation to apply for your visa. So basically, with minimum 60 points, you can lodge your EOI, but that doesn't guarantee you to have an invitation from skill select, as there's a pool selection round process. So if you have higher points, obviously you'll get the quicker invitation. So you need to keep that in mind as well. Even though if you have 60 points, that doesn't guarantee you always that you will get the invitation straight away. So for engineers who are doing MBA, they can straight away go this pathway, finish up your 2 years of studies. You can apply for your skill assessment and get the engineering occupation pathway. So that could be your option number 1. The option number 2, let's say if you are not a graduate from any of the engineering stream and you have just done a BCom or a normal BBA or something like that. After that, you need to see what's your specialization in MBA. So let's say many of the providers provide the different qualifications in marketing, hospitality management, finance, and all those kind of things. So you need to see what's your specialization, what are the key subjects or the major subjects you have done in your MBA. When we talk about marketing, let's start with marketing. So if you have done key subjects of marketing in your MBA, you might be able to use that occupation and get 1 year of post-study experience in marketing and apply for the state nomination. So anyone who have studied, let's say from South Australia, if they have done masters with the key subjects of marketing and have 1 year of experience to get the VET skill assessment, they will be able to apply for the state nomination 190 or 489. For those students, obviously they still need to continue meet the VET requirement, which is 1 year of post-study experience. So let's say if you have done masters here, but you still have 1 year of overseas experience and you have done bachelor with the business management or business marketing with the major subjects in marketing from bachelor as well from overseas, and you have 1 year of overseas experience as well, you can still use that 1 year of overseas experience, get your skill assessment done from VET, and you can apply for your state nomination as long as you have done masters from South Australia. Marketing specialist, unfortunately, is not available in many states, so you need to check which states they are currently sponsoring this particular occupation, or if you are eligible to nominate yourself under marketing specialist after doing the 2 years of study as well. So for the students who have studied from, let's say, South Australia, they have this pathway as well. So as long as you have done 2 years of masters and have 1 year of experience from overseas studies, or finish up your masters here, apply for your graduate visa 485 and gain 1 year of experience as a marketing specialist, and then you can apply for this state nomination pathway. So that could be option number 1 or 2 as well. People with the specialization in hospitality management, so there are quite a few colleges or universities provide the specialization in hospitality management. So those people, because your specialization unit were in hospitality, you can basically opt the experience as a restaurant manager, and you can get the skill assessment done from VetAssess, and you can apply the state nomination through restaurant manager position as well. This occupation is currently available in a couple of states, including South Australia, Tasmania as well. So in South Australia, it is currently being sponsored as a main and the main skill occupation list. So all you need to have is 1 year experience in last 3 years, or you must have studied from South Australia as well. Full skill assessment requirement for MBA holders in hospitality management as a restaurant manager is again 1 year of experience of post-study. So you need to complete your studies, then 1 year of experience, then only you can get the skill assessment done from VetAssess. So let's say if you have done bachelor from overseas, same scenario, bachelor in hospitality management, got 1 year of overseas experience, you can get your skill assessment done and you can use your master's degree here to apply for your state nomination. If you haven't got any experience, then you'll have to study master's and then you start your experience. Or if you have a bachelor degree from overseas that's relevant to your study, which is hospitality management or marketing, and you've been working in the same field from last 2 years, you can use that qualification as well, since it's after the bachelor anyway. So you can use that 2 years of qualification part-time, 20 hours a week, to make it up to 1 year, or just 20 hours a week, 1 year of experience requirement for VetAssess, and you can apply for your skill assessment through VetAssess, and it will be successful for you to apply for the state nomination. So in this case, while you were studying masters, if you have a job which is as a restaurant manager or marketing specialist and your bachelor qualification was in the same field, you will be able to apply for the state nomination straight away with this qualification as well. So you won't have to get the job after, get the experience after your masters. You can use that experience while you were studying, since your bachelor was a major in the marketing or hospitality management as well. So that can be another option for you to look into. The other specialization in MBA is more of the finance and all those kind of thing. Unfortunately, finance and accounting occupation has been really competitive. So you basically need high points, such as 70 or 75 points to get the invitation. So unfortunately, for those students, it's not going to be that easy to work around, since this occupation is highly competitive and they need higher experience to get the skill get the state nomination, basically. The other options we'll be discussing today is what can be done after 485 as well. Let's say once you finish up your master's in let's say MBA, and you have applied for your graduate visa 485, and you have 2 years now to figure out what can be done. You haven't done bachelor in engineering, you haven't got any specialization, but you have just done BA or you have just done BCom. What's your option after this? So let's talk about those people. So those people, I will suggest there are 3 alternative pathways. Number 1, you can look into doing 1 year of graduate teaching diploma, which is a graduate diploma in secondary teaching or any of the teaching diploma, graduate diploma. That's 1 year of course. You'll be working as a teacher after that. The only thing is the skill assessment requirement. The skill assessment requirement, English requirement is quite high for teachers. It's 8 in speaking and listening, 7 in reading and writing. So, but if your English is good, you have done MBA, there's no alternative pathway. You can look into doing your graduate diploma in teaching. You can register yourself as a teacher after just doing 1 year of diploma on 485 visa. You won't have to apply for a new visa. You can just use your current 485 visa to study this 1 year, get yourself registered as a teacher, apply for a state nomination or Direct 189, because all the teaching occupations are currently available in MLTSSL. And since it's such a high ceiling value, you can easily receive the invitation with 60 points. So that can be an option as well, just to study 1 year of graduate diploma in teaching, and that can lead you towards permanent residency, and that's for sure short in current situation. Second option, if you have done, let's say, MPH, Master of Public Health, there's no background of a bachelor, what option? You might be interested to study nursing. So what you can do is, if you're having a 485 visa and have 2 years of duration left, you can look into studying diploma of nursing. Once you finish up your 18 months of diploma of nursing, you can register yourself as an enrolled nurse, and currently this occupation is being sponsored by South Australia as well as New South Wales. In South Australia, anyone who has studied enrolled nursing have a full skill assessment, have a 7 each in IELTS, which is all anyway requirement for your APRA and NMEC skill assessment. As long as you meet 18 months of study and 7 each in IELTS and 50 points, you will be able to get the the invitation under 489 category, which means just the 18 months of diploma studies while you hold your 489 visa, 485 visa, you will be able to finish up your studies, get your skill assessment done through APRA and MEC, and also receive the invitation for 489 visa under South Australia or New South Wales 489 or 190. So that could be option number 2 by doing Diploma of Nursing. A lot of people say, okay, how I'm going to do the skill assessment and registration within this 2 years period. So it's highly recommended if you have just applied for your 485 or just got the 485 granted and you still have 24 months left on your graduate visa, you can start in as early as possible intake, which is let's say October intake or November intake. There's quite a few private institutes which provide October or November intake as well. Start up your course, Diploma of Nursing, in earliest possible intake. Finish up in 18 months. You still have another 6 months left on your 485. APRA takes about 4 weeks to give you the registration, and MEC takes about 8 weeks to give you the skill assessment. So altogether it's about 3 months. So 18 months plus 3 months, that's around 21 months gone on your 485. You still have another 3 months to figure out about your invitation for 489 visa. If you talk about South Australia in particular, South Australia takes around 3 weeks average to give you the nomination update if you've been invited or not. So within 3 weeks, you'll be able to understand what's your situation. So once you receive the invitation in 3 weeks, you still have another 2 months to apply for your visas, pay for the visa fees, upload the documents, and do the whole processing. So if you do this stage-wise and right on time, you will be able to finish up the whole process in 2 years, and you should be able to apply for your 489 on time. Finish up your 2 years of 489, and you can apply for your permanent residency. A lot of students think it's a long pathway. Well, it is a long pathway, but do you have any other options? If there is, then you should go for that. If there is not, then obviously you need to choose this pathway. So it's all about the options. What are the options available for your profile? Is there anything else you can do? If yes, then yes, you can go for that. It's simple as that, like accounting students. So a lot of students say, why should I do the professional program if I can get 79 in PT and get 75 points in total? Yes, if you can do that, go for it. But if you don't have the capacity or capability of getting 79 that easily, then always keep a second plan. Plan B should be there, and always have your backup plan to make sure you can achieve what you are trying to achieve through the processing. So you can do your professional year, and at the same time you can achieve 79 in PT, apply for the skill, the EOI. If you get the invitation, apply for your visa. You might be able to withdraw the professional program as well. But just doing PY as well as NATI or something else, you might have a backup plan as well for additional 5 points. Because we come across a lot of students who think they missed out on the chance of doing the PY or NATI on time, because they don't have enough time left on your 485 visa. So having said that, it's just that make sure you have backup plan. If plan A doesn't work out, what is your plan B? So by giving this option as a Diploma of Nursing, that could be a plan B as well. Graduate Diploma of Teaching, that's your plan A as well, in terms of not having any background, but you still have 24 months. Finish up your 12 months of Graduate Diploma in Teaching, get your skill assessment done, and do the EOI as well as 189 or 190, depending on how many points you have. Most of the teaching occupation, they're still not popular in terms of EOIs because they're not that easy. So that means there's less competition there and easy to get the invitation once it's down to 60 points. So you can look into that option as well. People with the engineering background, let's say if you don't want to use, or if you're not being able to use your bachelor degree, the other option on 485 visa is doing 2 years of study, advanced diploma of structural engineering, structural and civil engineering. If you do this course, even while you hold your student visa, this course is part of the MLCSSL. It's just 2 years of course. It's part of the MLCSSL as a civil structural draft person, civil draft person. It will be assessed by Engineers Australia without any skill assessment requirement in terms of your experience. You just need to get the skill assessment done from Engineers Australia by providing them the English and the qualification. As long as you have done through the registered or accredited program providers, you will be able to get the skill assessment done, and it's easy for you to apply for skill assessment. Once skill assessment done, you apply for EOI and you will be able to get the PR within like 189 invitation within a certain period of time with 60 points. So that could be another option for people not having a background in this occupation as well. The three suggested the studies that can be done on 485 visa, which means graduate diploma of teaching, diploma of nursing, advanced diploma of civil and structural engineering as well. They're all short-term courses. They still have a better pathway towards your permanent residency as well, and those can be done on your 485 visa. We normally get students who think, I've just finished up my master's degree, why should I start studying another thing, and why should I waste my more money and stuff as well. So it really depends on your objective as well, and what's your future plans in terms of your pathway towards your permanent residency. If you're sure about applying for 189, 190 or 489, then you need to have a backup plan in terms of what's your options available. So if your bachelor is not there, if you haven't done a bachelor in engineering or something which can be used for skill migration, then you need to start looking for the options. Either it's 190 like study options, or it could be any other option in terms of different occupations. So you just need to make sure you have those information available. So people who have just joined recently, we are discussing is the options after masters, after MBA. So people who have finished up MBA, what are the future options? So what we quickly discussed about a bachelor degree, what's your previous qualification? If you can use your previous qualification for your general skill migration. Just to clarify to the new viewers as well, so if you are currently, let's say, have done masters here, and you're using your bachelor degree for your skill assessment or the general skill migration application 189, 190 or 489, you can still claim your Australian study points, you can still claim your regional points, you can still claim 2 years of study, like Australian study requirements points as well. So that means even by using overseas qualification, you still have those points available for you to use to make it up to 60 or 55 or 50, depending which subclass you want to apply for. So just that's your backup in terms of having a same occupation or same qualification from overseas. If you don't have any of the engineering or any of the specialized qualification from overseas from your bachelor, you can look into applying or studying further on your 485 visa. People who want to study on 485 visa, they should be doing as early as possible. Reason, you have 24 months on your 485, and all these 24 months you must finish up your study as well as your skill assessment to make sure you have enough time to apply for your next 190 or 489, which means you can finish up the whole thing while you hold your 485 visa as well. Otherwise you'll have to apply for a student visa again and finish up your study and apply for the next visa. So it's gonna keep delaying the whole process, and obviously it will cost you more money. So you just need to make sure you have enough plans for yourself. For study options or study recommendation, what I was recommending for students to look into is a graduate diploma in teaching for 1 year, or diploma of nursing, or advanced diploma of structural engineering, or the similar kind of courses which are part of the MLCSSL, and these courses doesn't have any experience requirement, which means you don't have to study, you don't have to work in that field for a particular period of time to get the skill assessment. It's just that English requirement you have to meet, and skill assessment requirements of the accredited qualification, that's it. Which means you can bypass the experience requirement, which is the case in the most of the MBA occupations, such as marketing executive or restaurant manager or anything like that, which has the specialty as well. So guys, just keep these 3 courses in mind. So if you are currently holding this 485 visa, or have plans to apply in the next couple of months, without having any bachelor or specialization, you can look into this option of applying for any of these studies, or get experience of 1 year that can help you to apply for your next pathway. If you talk about that as well, just for students who obviously don't want to study further but want to explore the option of working in Australia and applying through the skill migration after having the enough experience. So basically, after MBA, most of the occupations will fall under VET-SS. VET-SS requirement for skill assessment is having a 1 year of post-study experience, which means it has to be after master's or it has to be after bachelor's. So if your bachelor is in the same field, which is a specialized field of marketing, hospitality management, or IT or whatever, then you can use that, and you can do the specialization, the skill assessment after your bachelor. But if your bachelor was just normal, like BCom or BA or something like that, then you may not be able to use that bachelor. You have to use the master's. And once you use that master's, the experience has to be a post-study experience, which means the experience has to start after you finish up your master's program. So that you need to really keep that in mind. VET-SS requires you to have post-study 20 hours a week experience, which means you can pretty much start from the day of your graduation and work 20 hours a week at least in your nominated occupation. And once you finish up 1 year, you can apply for your skill assessment, and once that comes positive, you can apply for your state nomination for 190 or 489. Since most of these occupations are not meeting into the MLT-SSL requirements, so they are not there, so you cannot apply for 189 directly, but you can still use state migration pathways or regional migration pathways. So since we are talking about having a job or experience post-study, if the students are not being able to get the experience on time, have a backup plan, which is plan B, in terms of doing a short-term course, which is part of the MLC-SSL, and applying for your permanent residency through that pathway. So just keep that in mind. And so as we're discussing these options, I will be accepting the questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask questions so I can help you out. And thank you really very much for the students who are actually watching this video. I hope you might have a bit of information through this video. Kunal, what about the non-engineers? As well as discussing about the non-engineers, basically it depends on what your bachelor into. So let's say if you've just done a BCom, which is a Bachelor of Commerce, and you're doing MBA right now, then you don't have much options, to be honest. So you'll have to see what your MBA's major course or major subjects are into. If you don't have any majors in MBA as well, then you'll have to see what's the options in terms of doing further studies or getting additional experience. So let's say if you are applying for a non-relevant study through MBAs, then they might ask for 2 years experience, which means VET-SS will require you to have 2 years experience after your studies if your qualification is not relevant to your nominated occupation. So having said that, if you're done, let's say MBA normal, and you're doing masters as a marketing specialist skill assessment, they can ask you to have 2 years of experience as a marketing specialist to get the positive skill assessment from VET-SS. So you need to check what's your bachelor into. If it's not specialized, you might have to see what's other options available, such as studying further or applying through these pathways of doing specialized course or studies. Amanpreet, can we study Cert 3 in motor mechanics and get PR in that? Yes, Amanpreet, you can do definitely Cert 3 and Cert 4. You will have to do a job ready program, or you must have 3 years of experience to get the skill assessment done from TRA, and then only you can apply for your PR, like under 189 or 190 subclass or 489. So you must meet the skill assessment requirements for TRA, which is either you need to have 3 years of experience, or you must do a job ready program. And job ready program can be done only on 485 visa or some of the other visas which can allow you to work full time. So, but you still need to finish up Cert 3 and Cert 4. So you must have a look into that. To meet the 485 requirements, which will be required for your job ready program, you need to do 2 years of relevant studies, which means Cert 3, Cert 4 and diploma. So having said that, you might have to have Cert 3, Cert 4 and diploma in automotive, have 360 hours of vocational placement or paid employment to apply for your 485. Once your 485 is granted, you can do your job ready program to get the full skill assessment. Once your full skill assessment is granted, then you can apply for your permanent residency through either 189, 190 or 489, depending on how many points you have. Motor mechanics is still, it is in the MLC-SSL, so you can basically apply for your 189 as well, so you have that option. But since you have done diploma, you'll get less points, as a diploma only gets you 10 points, whereas bachelor or master gets you 15. So you might have to get a higher score in IELTS to reach to 60 points for your 189 as well. So you have to consider that as well. Parvinder, I have completed MBA in supply chain management, and my 485 is going to finish in January 2019. I don't have much potential for IELTS score if I go teaching. Parvinder, unfortunately, supply chain management is not part of the MLT-SSL, so you might have to look into your previous qualification. So if you can just let me know your previous qualification, the bachelor, if it's relevant to any of these options which I gave you earlier, and then we can definitely look into those options. If not, then we'll have to see what other course options you have to do a short-term study, and that can help you to get the permanent residency through either 189 or 190 or 489. Graduate diploma in teaching, unfortunately, yes, the IELTS requirement is there. Or if you have studied 4 years of Australian, if you have 4 years of Australian study, you can waive off the IELTS requirement. So basically, if you have done bachelor 3 years and do graduate diploma of 1 year, you might be able to get the skill assessment done from teaching for teacher without any English requirements. So that can be a good option as well. Bachelor of Business Administration, yeah. So as I said, this occupation doesn't have a specialization, so you'll have to check, you'll have to see if you can get the experience, or you can use the state nomination pathway. If not, then unfortunately you'll have to study something which is a short-term course. Obviously you don't want to heat your pocket, but you might have to choose any of this short-term course which can be done on your 485 visa, and you can apply for your further visas on time while you still hold 485 visas. David, how about accounting? Accounting, yes, unfortunately is still on 75 points, but in tonight's invitation round I'm expecting it to come down to 70 points, if not still on 75. It will be still 75 if not 70 tonight, but it might clear up all the backlogs for 75 points. So if not tonight, it can be next invitation round, it can come down to 70 points. But people who are expecting with 60 or 65 points in accounting, there's not much option, unfortunately. You cannot expect to get invitation under accounting with 60 or 65 points for 189. I know there are a lot of migration agents might be suggesting you might get next year chance or the year after, but you don't know how many people are applying with 75 points. So there are, due to a lot of people getting PT score easily thanks to our PT tutorials, there are a lot of people actually getting 79 easily in PT, and they're reaching to 75 points in EOI, and those people are taking up your space. So people with 60 or 65 points in accounting, honestly don't expect it until at least this financial year, or even more after that. Masters, okay, so that's a good question. MA in marketing, Angelique. So basically, as I said, if you have done marketing specialization and have 1 year of experience post-study, you can use that to apply for your state nomination. But to have the state nomination, you need to check which states are currently sponsoring this marketing specialist occupation. As far as South Australia, I know that South Australia is sponsoring marketing specialists as long as you meet the special condition. And for the special condition is either you have to study from here at least 1 year, or you have 12 months of experience in South Australia, at least 20 hours a week, or you must have a close relative in South Australia, which means first blood relation. It has to be parents, brothers, sisters, or first relation. And number 4 is you must have high points, which is 70 points by yourself, and they will sponsor you 10 points for your 489, which is making up to 80 points in total. So if you haven't studied from South Australia, Angelique, you might have to get 12 months of experience in South Australia to get the state nomination under marketing specialist. Rahul, I've done bachelor's in BBA, current final semester in ECU with MBA specializing in information system. Rahul, since you have done information system, you might be able to get the skill assessment from ACS as a business analyst. So you can apply for even 189, 190 or 489 depending on which state is sponsoring, or 189 directly, as long as you meet this point requirement. In current situation it's around 70 points as a business analyst, you just need to do a skill assessment from ACS. So skill assessment requirement is either you need to have 1 year of post-study experience in Australia, or you must do a professional program from any of the accredited provider in Australia. So you can look into either getting a job after your master's in Australia in IT, at least 20 hours a week for 1 year, or you can do a professional program for 11 months, it's 44 weeks, and then you can apply for your skill assessment, and then you can apply for your the 189 with the required points. So you can use that pathway for you. I've done masters in software engineering and I'm pursuing PY, so I need to assess my bachelor degree with masters with ACS or just master's degree study. MD, you can use any of this degree as long as they are a major degree in ACS. So they are major computer degree, and ACS will accredit those degree to give you 15 points and AQF equivalent as well. So since you have already done masters here, I would suggest you to use your masters in software engineering anyway. Nirdosh, you have done Masters of Teaching, so that's pretty good course as long as it's specialized in teaching rather than just a teaching management or education management. As long as it's a secondary teacher or primary teacher or whatever, you can register yourself, AITSL, as long as you meet the skill assessment requirement of English, and you can straight away apply for your 189 EOI as well. Since the English requirement is quite high for teachers, you will have pretty much 60 points itself by just meeting those requirements. Since if your age group is between 25 to 32, you have done masters here, so 15 points for masters, 30 points for your age. You have done 2 years of study here, so that means up to 50 points, and since you have more than 7 in each module of IELTS, you will get 10 points as well. So altogether you will have 60 points by itself. You will be able to apply for your 189 EOI, and you might get the invitation very soon in teaching, as long as it's a teacher occupation, not education development or something like that. Masters of that's fine. I've done MPA and MBA. Shankit, yeah, unfortunately, you can use your MPA degree, but again, as I said earlier, MPA you'll have to have this 75 points or 70 points soon to receive the invitation. If I'm not wrong, you might have done this course from Holmes Institute, MPA and MBA dual degree. You can use MPA. You can get the skill assessment from CPA or any other accounting bodies, and you can apply for your 189 EOI as long as you have 70 points. You might have to do a professional program, or you might have to do a 79 in PT. You can check out the PT tutorials, see if that can help you to get the 79 in PT. Kanwalpreet, very good question. How many points are required under ICT Secured Specialist to get the invitation? This occupation is newly introduced in this year's changes for MLTSSL, so there's not many people actually applying for this occupation, so you can still go through this occupation with lower point requirements. The only thing is still the people are receiving the invitation with high points, so you may not get the invitation anytime soon, but you still can get the invitation with 60 points sometime in a few months. There will be an invitation round tonight, if I'm not wrong. So we'll see some updates, ups and downs in terms of the processing time for key occupations. So accounting students can expect that the minimum cutoff points can come down to 70, either this round or early next, or maybe next round. So I'm just expecting that it will be either tonight or after a fortnight, next invitation round. Muhammad, yes, basically you need to still meet the skill assessment, the experience requirement in South Australia. So either you need to have 1 year in last 3 years, or if you want to claim the waiver of the experience, you must be a South Australian graduate or must meet the requirements. So if you have studied from South Australia, you might be able to get the waiver of experience, but you still need to meet the other requirements, which is high English and all this kind of thing. So depending on the occupation, you might have to check. So let's say if you have vet assess occupations, they need 1 year of experience anyway. So you cannot. There is no alternative pathway for vet assess. So you must have 1 year of experience to get the skill assessment, and then you can use that to apply for your state nomination as well. Sandeep, we have discussed a lot of options after MBA. What we were just discussing earlier, was more about what's your overseas studies. You can use your overseas study for your general skill migration pathways, or what is your MBA specialization. If you have MBA specialization, you can use that as well. Or if you are currently on 485 visa, you can look into studying additional short courses which can lead you towards permanent residency as well, such as graduate diploma in teaching, diploma of nursing, advanced diploma of civil and structural engineering, if you're interested in those kind of things. These courses are not that expensive, but they have a pathway towards permanent residency, and they're a more secured pathway, so you can look into that option. Rahul, thank you for previous comment on my request on MBA information system. I had multiple interests before in aviation. Have completed commercial pilot training in Melbourne. Unfortunately, it's just it might not be registered as well, and yeah, having a pilot license may not help you towards a skill migration. So that's absolutely different than what's your skill migration application. Flying a plane might be your interest, but unfortunately it's not going to help you to get the permanent residency unless it's sponsored pathway, employer sponsored. So you'll have to look into that other way. It's totally different than the general skill migration. Sonam, can I apply for another student visa after completing TR? Yes, Sonam, basically a lot of students actually apply for student visa after doing their graduate visa, 485. It really depends on what's the intention of studying. So basically when you apply for a new student visa, immigration will assess it against your GT criteria. GT means genuine temporary entrant, which means they will see what's the prospect after you finishing this course, what are your intentions while after finishing up this course, or what is the purpose of doing this course, how much of the investment you're going to do this into this course as well, and what are your future earnings, expected earnings after you complete this course back in your home country as well. So they take multiple information into the consideration, and then they grant you visas. So you can always upgrade your skills. Let's say if you have done bachelor here and you applied for your graduate visa 485, and now you want to do masters, then you can easily get the visas as long as you can explain that you have tried to get a job here, you got this job, casual jobs or whatever, the small entry-level jobs. Now you want to step up by having more skills into the field, and that's why you're proposing to study masters. Then it's an easier chance for you to get the student visa as well. For more information on student visa, you can definitely visit one of our office. We have highly qualified and trained education counselors. You can help. You can take help from them. So yeah, definitely you can apply for your student visa after TR. Muhammad, for accounting especially. Muhammad, unfortunately, even if you have 70 points in accounting, you may not get the invitation under the high points requirement in South Australia because they've got the requirements, which is 12 months experience in South Australia for South Australian graduates. So if you don't meet that requirement, you may not get the invitation under state migration. Look guys, state migration programs, they all decided by the migration authority of that particular state. So they have their own criteria to decide. They can make an exceptions depending on the profiles, but normally in most of the cases, obviously they have set criteria you need to meet. The only exceptions they normally do is into the closely relevant jobs. So give you example, if you have done diploma of nursing in South Australia, if you don't have 7 each, you still have a skill assessment done by using two of the exams of last 6 months. You can apply for the state nomination even if you don't have 7 each, as long as you have 12 months of experience, and that can be a closely relevant experience. So people working in the aged care or personal care sector or community sector, they can use that 12 months of experience as long as it's closely relevant and apply for state nomination 489 regional nomination, and they still get the approval. So those exceptions can be made, but in terms of the fixed criteria, they're not going to change it just for one person or just for you. So we need to keep that in mind as well while we apply for the state nomination. Nitish, how much time do you think, sir, to get the invitation in electronics on 60 points? Nitish, it has come down to 65. We can expect the invitation with 60 points, but if you have lodged your UI recently, you may not get any time soon because even though if it will come down to 60, you'll still see the backlogs will have to be cleared first. So which means people who have applied with 60 points earlier, they will get the invitation first. So you might have to wait a good 6 months, if I'm not wrong. Sonam, can I do masters in computer related field without having any experience? Hi Sonam, yes, you can do masters in computer without any experience requirement. There are a lot of providers which offers masters program, and the good thing is that no providers have a prerequisite requirement of having experience in computing field. So you can do masters as long as you have a bachelor relevancy as well. Or you can do, let's say if you have done BCom or something else in accounting and stuff, you can still look into doing Master of Information System, since it's not completely relevant to programming or hardcore computing. It's more about business consulting and business analyzing as well. So you can look into doing that kind of courses for sure. Chien Kim, so how many points required for Tasmania 19049 as an accountant? So the point, so any state migration, the minimum point is 55 for 190 or 50 for your 489. Now, how many points you have, it doesn't really matter for the state nomination, as long as they see who are the best fit for their state. So as I said earlier, each and every state has their own migration program, and they see which candidates are most suitable for our state. Give you an example, let's say even if you have 65 points but you don't have a job in that state, and someone else who is having only 55 points and have a job, full-time job in their own field, that particular applicant might be having more chance to get the invitation compared to you, even though if you have more points. Simply because as a state migration officer, I will look who is a better prospective migrant for my state. So basically, if that particular person is working full-time, contributing towards my economy, then I would like to give him more chances for state migration compared to someone who is not having a job, who is not meeting our requirements in terms of employment, or who might not be able to get the employment anytime soon. So you need to see those factors as well for state migration. So just by having more points doesn't mean you might get the invitation straight migration that easily. But having said that, NSW do consider how many points you have in some of the occupations. So it's really tricky to say that how many points they need. They just need to make sure you have minimum points. That's it. I've done Bachelor of Agriculture. Any chance for state essay nomination? Wahid, yes, agriculture is a very good occupation for South Australia. There are a lot of agriculture-related occupations in essay, but the only thing is most of the agriculture-related occupations are assessed through wet assess, so they will need 1 year of experience. So if you have that, you can easily go through a state migration application in South Australia. Piyush, I've been working anyway more than 3 years with 457 visa. I have 5 months of gap not working. Am I able to apply for permanent residency? If yes, what documents required? Piyush, unfortunately I cannot help you unless you tell me what occupation you are into. But yeah, 3 years experience on 457, which means full-time, which it will be a significant experience. So you can definitely apply for state migration as long as you get the skill assessment done soon. So 3 years experience is quite good. You can definitely apply. Just let us know about the occupation so we can help you out more. Sonam, you can apply for state student visa. You may not have to provide them the bank statement. It's just that it depends on which university you apply for. If it's assessment level 1 university, then you don't need any financial documents. So it depends on which university you want to study with and what kind of passport you hold, like which country of nationality you are. So you need to check with our education team to see if you do need any financials, or if you don't need any financials, depending on what kind of course you want to study and stuff. Well, I finished my MBA degree. I'm supposed to earn 15 points. If I do graduate diploma in teaching or diploma of nursing or advanced diploma of civil and structural engineering degrees like you suggested and apply for 110, 190 under those skills, will I get 10 points or 15 points? Real good question. You can still claim your MBA degree 15 points. So even if you study diploma of nursing, your highest qualification is still MBA. So you can claim 15 points for your masters. So it's definitely good points, good the point to discuss that as long as you have done bachelor or master's and you do another diploma, you can still claim your diploma, master's or bachelor points, which is 15. So that gives you additional 5 points as well. And since you have studied 2 years in Australia, you will get additional 5 points for your 2 year studies as well. So in total, you will get 20 points. I see accounting 60 points. Unfortunately, there's not much options with 60 points for 189 or even 190. So you might have to look into either doing a short-term course in Tasmania or ACT, which is, again, I'm not promising you that you will get the invitation. As I said earlier, state immigration programs are very different than 189 programs. 189 is a fixed criteria, whereas state migration program is depending on which candidate is more suitable for that particular state. So the assessing officer will see what's your qualification, what's your proposed occupation, plus do you have a close relevant job or not, plus how many years you've been staying in that state, what is your commitment towards that state and everything as well. So they consider multiple factors, and then only they will give the invitation as well. So you need to do that. You need to keep that in mind as well. But if you have done 3 years of bachelor, you might look into applying for these short-term courses on your 485 visa, and that can be good as well. Piyush, yes, restaurant manager. If you have done 3 years of experience as a restaurant manager, you can get skill assessment done easily through VETSS, and you can also apply for the state nomination. Currently, 489 is available for South Australia as a restaurant manager. It's as long as you have got the experience and the skill assessment done. You can look into applying for this for other states as well, but the easiest option right now is South Australia, obviously. If you have the experience, you can go for skill assessment. For skill assessment, you will need last 3 years of experience documents, pay slips, your tax assessment forms, employer reference, also all the academic documents and your visa copy. So you can talk to one of our staff member in the office close to you, and they can assist you with the application for VETSS. I've completed MBA from Melbourne and studying diploma in Tasmania for 1 year, but my TR is expiring in February. What do I need to do to get PR? Sunita, as I just mentioned earlier, just doing 1 year of diploma anywhere in particular state may not guarantee you to have a state nomination. So you still need to meet the other criteria, which could be, as I said, job, commitment towards that state, higher English, or whatever the key minimum requirement they have. For now, if you are studying and if you don't have enough time left to finish up your study, you will have to apply for a new visa subclass 500 for your student visa to study to finish up your diploma in Tasmania. And once you finish up and you apply for your 489 or 190, depending on your eligibility for Tasmania. If they give you the invitation, yes, you can apply for the visa straight away. If they don't give you the invitation, then you might have to look around what's the best option available for you that time, or what is the current option. Being an accounting graduate, you can look into getting 79 in PTE to increase your chances. By having 70 points or 75 points, you'll get the invitation to apply for your 189. Unfortunately, 190 is very difficult in accounting nowadays. Unless you have high points, you might be able to receive an invitation from NSW, or if you have a job experience in South Australia, you might be able to receive the invitation for 190. Hasib, you get 10 points for your relation with the family. So basically, that will be a subclass 489 relative sponsored. But if you are accounting graduate or some of the IT graduates, you may not be able to receive 489 relative sponsored invitation anytime soon, because the first priority they give is to 189 applications, and if there is no more 189 invitation or applications left, then only that will go on to 489 relative sponsored category. So which means accounting students with in 489 relative sponsored category should not expect the invitation anytime soon. I understand there was a couple of rounds ago, I think there was a few invitations which were not supposed to be there, but there was a system glitch, if I'm not wrong. So you just need to keep that in mind. As long as all 189 invitation is not done, you're not going to get 489 relative sponsored invitations. Piyush, you can just go on our website that have a Sydney office address, and you can visit them, and they will give you assistance in terms of applying for your VETSS and also the state nomination. Tien, thanks for answering my question. Can I ask you, if you have state nomination, will you have priority over those applicants without state nomination for PR pathway? Tien, I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question right or wrong, but state migration is different than 189. So as long as you get the invitation from for 190 or 489, you will be able to apply for your visa straight away, and then the visa officer from DIBP will just assess the criteria, which means meeting the English, meeting the qualification, or meeting the character requirements or public interest criteria and all those kind of things. As long as you tick those requirements, you'll be able to get the visas. There's no priority in terms of the processing or refusals that you don't meet the requirements or whatever. As long as you apply for the visa, you tick the requirements for those documents and public interest criteria and all those kind of things, you will get the visa approved, that's for sure. Pranay, how many points do you get for working in a non-profit organization? Pranay, there's no points, unfortunately, for volunteering. So you'll have to see, even if it's NGO, you still have to get paid employment. Just by helping in NGOs will not get you points. But it might be helpful for you to do the skill assessment, but not for skill employment. So there's no points for your volunteering in skill migration, unfortunately. Alright guys, as people who are watching right now, so what we're discussing is just the options after MBA. I'll sum it up, I'll finish it up very soon. What we discussed today is just what are your options available after doing MBA if you don't have any current options. So basically you can use your overseas qualification if you have done engineering or any specialized occupation, any specialized degree from overseas. You can use that for your skill migration. And as someone just asked, yes, you can use, you can study a short-term course and you can still use the points for MBA. So that means you can just do a diploma, apply for your state nomination through the diploma, but you can still claim the points for your bachelor or master's. So that can be used as well. You can see if you have got the specialization as well from overseas qualification and experience to apply for state nominations. That can be your options as well. Or some of the courses such as diploma of nursing or trade qualifications as well. Yeah, that's another option you can definitely look into if you're interested or you are working in the trade such as cooking, automotive or building construction or anything like that. You can do Cert 3, Cert 4 while holding these visas. You can apply, or you can use overseas experience to apply for your skill assessment, and you can use the other occupation as well. So by doing these short-term courses on 485 can help you to choose a different occupation rather than just sticking to that. So that can waive off your experience requirement for your skill assessment as well. Since most of the occupations after MBA will need 1 year of experience, since they fall under VET-SS, and VET-SS requirement is 1 year of post-study experience. So you need to look into those. I will quickly answer these two questions before I finish up. How can we process for PR after completing Masters in Project Management? Masters in Project Management, as a construction project manager, this occupation is part of the MLC SSL, but that requires you to have experience. So that means after finishing up your Masters, you will need to get the experience on your 485, then only you can apply for your PR through this program. So if you don't get the experience, you might have to check what's your bachelor program is it. So what's your bachelor qualification, and if you can use that bachelor qualification for your skill migration application. Is it hard to get student spouse visa? Muhammad, it's not that hard. It just you need to prove and you need to meet the GT requirements. So even for spouse visa, you still need to meet the GT requirements. So as long as you meet the GT criteria, so you should be able to get the student spouse visa as well. Can you get extra points for PR working in a home country for accounting? Kishore, yes, you can use overseas experience points. You need to have 3 years of overseas experience to claim 5 points. So you get 3 years experience, 5 points for 3 years experience, 10 points for your 5 years experience, and 15 points for 8 years plus experience from overseas. Do I get 5 points for 2 years of Australian study given that my MBA is 1.5 and 1 year of graduate diploma teaching? Well, unfortunately, you cannot do that because you already finished your master's and your next qualification is graduate diploma. So it doesn't meet the AQF level, it doesn't meet the study requirements level. So which means you must do another short-term MBA, or not MBA, sorry, another master's degree, which is for 1 year or 1.5 years, to make it up to 2 years. Then you apply for your graduate visa, and on that graduate visa, you can apply for your, you can study the graduate diploma in teaching. So unfortunately, you cannot use this pathway which you have just mentioned in the comments. I've done Bachelor of Science plus CIMA and doing MBA. I'm working towards 79 PT. What are the other options? Akila, I'm not sure what you mean by CIMA. So if you can just explain, that will be helpful. I can help you out with your inquiry as well. I've done Bachelor of Electrical Engineering in India and currently doing MBA specialization in IES. What are the options and can I get PR on MBA? And Devang, yes, it will be easier for you to use the electrical engineering. You just need to get the skill assessment done from Engineers Australia. So what you can do is either you can get 6 each right now, or you can finish up your MBA to apply for your skill assessment in Engineers Australia as electrical engineer, and you can apply for 189, 190 or 489 depending on how many points you have. So electrical engineering will have more options for you to compare to using the information system in IT. So you should definitely go for engineering rather than this information system, since information system is more relevant to business analysts, and business analyst is quite competitive occupation as well. Hardeep, so that's what we're discussing, what are the options after MBA. So you might be able to go through this video once we're finished up. It will load up on Facebook, or you can just replay it. So we discussed quite a few different options after doing MBA, so you can go through that. Okay, so you have done accounting degree from overseas and doing MBA and working towards getting 79. What are the other options? Akila, to be honest, that's the easiest option, getting 79 in PT and make it up to more than 70 points. You might be able to do your professional program while you hold 485 visas. So you'll have to check with CPA as well, or you can check with our professional team. But that will just give you 5 points. To increase the points significantly, it's better for you to work towards 79. You can go on our website, pttutorials.com. You might be able to get some help to get 79 from our trainers, and some of the materials available there. Mamta, it's very easy for a nursing graduate. You just need to get 7 each in IELTS to get yourself self-registered. 60 points is currently enough for you to apply for 189, 190 and 489. So nursing still large ceiling value available, so it's easier for you to apply for any of the general skill migration being a registered nurse. So you can go directly for 189 as well, as long as you meet the point requirements. Muhammad, yes, software engineering, if it's from overseas, you need to have 2 years of experience to get the skill assessment done from ACS. So it has to be after study as well. So you can apply for ACS, but you need 2 years of experience from overseas. If BA teaching with experience have any value on process to apply for PR? Aki, yes, you can apply for general skill migration if you have BA from overseas, as long as bachelor. The only thing you need to check if you have done 45 days of supervised training, and then you can apply for your skill assessment with the AITSL to get yourself assessed as a teacher. You still need to meet the English requirement, which is 8 each in speaking and listening and 7 in reading and writing. So as long as you meet these 2 requirements, you can definitely go for it. And since, as I just mentioned earlier, teaching is very good occupation for you to apply for your permanent residency 189, 190, so you can definitely use this if you have experience, yes. I've just mentioned it, it's 8 each in speaking and listening, 7 each in reading and writing. Hardeep, 190 possible in essay? Yes, it is possible, only if you have studied from South Australia and have 1 year of experience. You must meet those 2 requirements to apply for 190 in South Australia. So I'll just, guys, you can continue your inquiries. You can keep posting your inquiries. One of our migration agent or myself will answer those inquiries for sure. So if you have any questions or queries, feel free to get in touch over the Facebook, leave a comment or send us an SM inbox. We'll be happy to help you out. For the people who are preparing for PT, you can definitely go on our website, pttutorials.com, and it can help you towards achieving your dream score of 65 or 79. If you have any questions regarding the general skill migration or employer-sponsored visa, feel free to book an appointment. And also, just mentioned in the beginning that we are doing 5 different seminars over next 5 weeks throughout all 5 offices, all 5 states, I would say. So just make sure you register yourself into those seminars to get enough information for your future pathways. And I really appreciate all the viewers, and thank you very much for watching this video.